Well, so they also make shoes of the skin, of the baby's skin.
They got a special tool and they put it in the skin and like in the baby's skin, and then they
take it out, and then they stick it because the blood is kind of sticky,
and then they make the shoe with the sole
and the flip flops. They stick it on the flip flops.
They got flip flops and like those shoes, like the one that I like, the ones that I showed my mum in the shoe shop in Grand Cross. Those ones with this big, it got a big star on its baby skin, but it's not like, you can do it coloured, but it's not like, it's a bit see-through there.
For the skin?
Yes, it's skin.
Okay, well, sorry to...
A big black star, it was... Wait, pause. I have to go and draw the star picture on the shoe. The paper's downstairs.
Let's get another look at today's papers now and more highlights from the brand.
You're watching The Wrap. Time now to see what's making the front pages of tomorrow's newspapers. So let's see the headlines of tomorrow's front pages. The Guardian reports on Labour MPs saying the Prime Minister's days as leader are numbered.
Look, yesterday, where was it? It was yesterday. She turned around and said to me, I need to research my enemy, yeah? So I researched my enemy, and the first thing that came up was her dead dad. So, like, what do you want me to do? And I figured out why you're so obsessed with Danny, isn't it? Because your dad's name was Danny, isn't it, Voldemort? That's why you're obsessed with Danny. You got this weird obsession, like, it's weird. But anyway...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, but let me keep the smoke for later.
With my children, she's jumped on a bandwagon with paedophiles, knows she's fucked up, and now all she does is go to my dead dad and kids.
Bode well for you or for the rest of us, really. It just turns into a doubted man.
All she has, because she has not looked into who I am or what's gone on with...
I don't need to look into... Well, look. Yesterday, where was it? It was yesterday. She turned around and said to me, I need to research my enemy, yeah? So I researched my enemy, and the first thing that came up was her dead dad. So, like, what do you want me to do? And I figured out why you're so obsessed with Danny, isn't it? Because your dad's name was Danny, isn't it, Voldemort? That's why you're obsessed with Danny. You got this weird obsession, like, it's weird. But anyway...
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Ah, right, okay.
Yeah, but let me keep the smoke for later.
With my children, she's jumped on a bandwagon with paedophiles, knows she's fucked up, and now all she does is go to my dead dad and kids.
This dossier is submitted with the intention of clarity, integrity, and care. The work presented here was developed through a deliberate and transparent process that begins with the establishment of a clear legal and ethical framework before any conclusions are drawn. Our approach is grounded in long-standing legal principles commonly referred to as the maxims of international commerce and natural law, which emphasize truth, accountability, good faith, and the protection of the innocent. These principles have historically existed to prevent abuse of power, reduce distortion, and ensure that law serves justice rather than privilege. By working within this framework, and with the assistance of artificial intelligence as an analytical tool, we aim to reduce the risks of human error, unconscious bias, emotional pressure, and manipulation that can arise when individuals are required to carry the full burden of articulating uncomfortable truths alone. Artificial intelligence is used first to organize, cross-reference, and analyze large volumes of material in a consistent, non-coercive, and time-efficient manner. Human review and fact-checking then follow. This sequence is intentional. It allows the law, evidence, and oversight. In doing so, responsibility is shared, transparency is increased, and no single individual is placed in a position of undue pressure or exposure for taking an initial step toward accountability. Umbrella Grape Solutions and the UGS Common Law Church exist to support this kind of ethical process. Our purpose is not to favor wealth, influence, or status, but to restore lawful balance and protection for those who are vulnerable, unheard, or harmed by systemic failure. We believe truths to protect the innocent, to encourage responsibility, and to make resolution possible without fear. Jake Clark, the author of this dossier, has approached an exceptionally sensitive and distressing matter with care, restraint. He has focused strictly on documented procedural realities rather than narrative, speculation, or accusation. This work recognizes that fear, confusion, and avoidance often arise in situations where people do not know how to acknowledge or address what has gone wrong. Our position is that accountability and healing are not opposites. The first step in any meaningful resolution is acknowledgement, undertaken compassionately and with safety for all in society, and in light of wider developments across political, institutional, and cultural arenas, it is both reasonable and necessary to revisit certain disturbing cases calmly, lawfully, and without dehumanization. It is about creating conditions in which the right individuals feeling isolated, threatened, or destroyed for speaking truth. When analysis is conducted methodically and independently first, and then verified by people, the pressure to be the first voice is removed. The law remains the law, but it is applied with fairness, proportion, and care. This cover note is submitted in good faith, with the sincere intention of supporting truth, accountability, healing, and the restoration of trust in lawful process. Kaylee Ainov. On behalf of Umbrella Grape Solutions and the UGS Common Law Church, The Hampstead investigation. A systemic failings dossier. Based on official oversight findings of the Independent Police Complaints Commission, IPCC, 2015 and 2016 determinations. Prepared by Jake Clark. 1. Executive Overview. This dossier documents a pattern of serious procedural failures in the Metropolitan Police Service's handling of the 2014 Hampstead investigation, as formally identified by the IPCC 2015 decision and IPCC 2016 decision. These two statutory binding establish that investigation was incomplete. 2. The investigation was inadequate. 3. The first reinvestigation was also 4. A second reinvestigation ordered in 2016 appears not to have been conducted. 5. Oversight directives remain unfulfilled more than 10 years later. This does and within lawful boundaries, that the investigation into the Hampstead allegations has never been completed to the policy or the IPCC itself. This represents a systemic failure rather than the actions of any individual officer. 2. The oversight documents. The Independent Police Complaints Committee was the statutory watchdog for police conduct. Its determinations binding, authoritative, and subject to mandatory compliance by the police force concerned. The IPCC and 2016 are not opinion, are not speculation, and are not based on external advocacy. They are formal legal findings grounded in documentary evidence, interviews, police records, procedural standards, and statutory complaint regulations. Both determine the Metropolitan Police Service's handling of the case required reinvestigation. 3. Investigation. Documented failures. 2014. Criminal investigation, 12 days. The Metropolitan Police Service opened the investigation on the 5th of September, 2014. Closed the investigation on the 17th of September, 2014. Recorded that major law abandoned. Medical seized. No arrest was made despite recorded grounds. Multiple known addresses were not searched. Professional assessments were not obtained or logged. The investigation lacked adequate documentation and rationale. The closure of such a serious investigation after 12 days was identified as highly irregular. 2014 to 2015, complaints submitted by the mother. The complainant submitted complaint letter 2 on the 15th of May, 2015, consisting of a 25-page supplementary complaint. These complaints, procedural failures, safeguarding concerns, and evidence handling. 2015, Directorate of Professional Standards Investigation. The Police Directorate of Professional Standards, DPS, produced a 5-page report. Failed to address the majority of complaint points. Included irrelevant material that undermined the complaint. Omitted critical investigative questions, and provided in 2015. The appeal was upheld. The DPS investigation was declared inadequate. A full reinvestigation was ordered. 2016, first reinvestigation. The reinvestigation creating a conflict of interest. Failed to address points. Repeated many of the original investigation. Represented or misunderstood key evidence. The assess concerns. Did not examine contra accounts. did not investigate evidence handling issues, did not explore discrepancies in the medical timeline. IPCC outcome in 2016. Reinvestigation was declared and reinvestigation was ordered. The new investigating officer was required to have no prior involvement in the case. 2016 to present. There is no evidence. Investigation was remedied. The second reinvestigation was commenced, or the IPCC's mandatory directions were fulfilled. 4. Procedural failure. IPCC. The following failures are drawn directly from the IPCC's 2015 and 2016 findings. 4.1 Inadequate investigation. The IPCC concluded that the investigation was incomplete pursuing required. 4.2 Failures. The IPCC identified failures to obtain medical records, rectal devices, retrieve CCTV, view relevant individuals. So, these are basic investigative requirements. 4.3 Arrest release records indicated that arrest criteria were met. No arrest was made. No clear rationale was. Reinvestigations failed. 4.4 Mishandling of medical evidence found that medical information. Officers received relevant medical information early. There was no explanation for why this distances existed between officers. This constituted a serious procedural failure. Retraction interview failures. The IPCC identified leading questions about retraction, absence of record to respect a child's request to stop, pressure to confirm, incomplete application of ABE guidance. The IPCC explicitly stated, "In my opinion, this is inappropriate." 4.6 Findings raised concerns regarding statements about viewing disclosure recordings for CCTV failures, possible loss or non-preservation of evidence. 4.7 Professional standards failures. The IPCC found that the DPS failed to address major complaints, inserted irrelevant material, failed to apply investigative reasoning, mishandled the complaint process. As a result, the IPCC ordered the entire remains outstanding. The original investigation was inadequate. The professional standards investigation. A second investigation was ordered by the IPCC that it was carried out. This is public trust. Investigations, procedure, and the credibility of a dossier does not seek investigations. It concerns compliance with lawful process. 6. Summary of systemic failures. The investigation was too brief, insufficient, incomplete, binding orders, compromised, missing steps required by all findings originate from the required actions, now operating as the independent The must 1. Acknowledge order. 2. Appoint an independent investigator with no prior resolved complaint points. 5. Provide formal confirmation of actions taken. 8. That the Metropolitan Police investigation, the professional standard, the reinvestigation was inadequate. A second no evidence that it occurred. Failures require formal resolution.